Today I can multiply using the associative property, the commutative property, and the distributive property. Let's review the associative property of multiplication first. In the associative property of multiplication, you can group factors in different ways, and you will get the same exact product. Take a look at this example. 3 times 4 times 5. The first way it is grouped is putting the parentheses around the numbers 3 and 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. And as you see, they still have to multiply that product by the leftover number 5. 12 times 5 equals 60. Now the other way they showed, putting parentheses around the last two factors, 4 and 5. First they multiplied 4 by 5, which equals 20, and then they still had to multiply that third factor. So 3 times 20 equals 60. No matter what, the product was the same. Let's try an example. Have your board and marker ready. Alright, on your boards, I would like you to write the multiplication sentence 2 times 4 times 3. We are going to multiply this using the associative property two ways. The first way, I want us to put the parentheses around the first two numbers. So do that with me now. Let's put our parentheses around the number 2 and the number 4. Now by doing this, I know that I'm going to be multiplying these two numbers first. 2 times 4 equals what? 8. Awesome. Now, don't forget, we still have to multiply this factor by our other factor. So let's bring that down to this level. 8 times 3 equals what? 24. Very good. Alright, so that was one way to solve 2 times 4 times 3. What I would like you to do is erase the bottom part of your board. Erase these arrows and your parentheses. Now I'm going to show you and review with you how to use the parentheses in the last two numbers. So just like we did in our first example, we're going to now put the parentheses around the 4 and 3 and multiply those first. So do that with me now. Put a parenthesis around the 4 and a parenthesis around the 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Awesome. Now, don't forget, we still have this factor over here that we have to multiply. So we're going to bring that multiplication symbol down. We're going to bring this 2 down. And now we need to multiply 2 by 12. Well, what's two groups of 12? Let's try it. Let's make one group and two groups. And let's put 12 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What's 12 plus 12? 12 plus 12 is 24. So no matter where we put the parentheses in our multiplication sentence, the product is always going to be the same. Now let's practice the commutative property of multiplication. In the commutative property, it says that the order of the factors doesn't matter. The product is the same. In the example, 8 times 1 equals 8. If we were to flip those factors around to 8 times 1, the product will still equal 8. Alright, have your board and marker ready? Let's do an example of the commutative property of multiplication. I'm going to write the number sentence 5 times 2. We're going to draw this out in an array. And then we're going to use the commutative property of multiplication to flip those numbers to see if we get the same answer. So I know that 5 times 2 equals 10. Now I can prove that by drawing 5 rows of 2. Watch me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, what if I wanted to use that commutative property of multiplication and flip the numbers? Let's erase the 5 and the 2. We'll put the 2 first and the 5 second. 2 times 5 still equals 10, and I can prove that using my array. Now I'm going to make 2 rows of 5. So let's erase this array. And now let's make 2 rows of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 5 equals 10. No matter how you write the multiplication sentence, your product will always be the same. Now let's practice the distributive property of multiplication. In the distributive property of multiplication, a multiplication fact can be broken apart into the sum of 2 other multiplication facts. For example, 4 times 7, I can break apart the 7 into 4 and 3 because 4 plus 3 equals 7. So I will take each addend and multiply it by the first number. 4 times 4 equals 16. 4 times 3 equals 12. Then I simply add the 2 sums together. 16 plus 12 equals 28. Therefore, 4 times 7 equals 28. All right, let's do an example together. On your boards, I would like you to write 2 times 6. Now remember, we're practicing the distributive property, so we're going to break this factor into 2 different addends. What numbers added together equals 6? 2 plus 4 equals 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Let's choose 3 plus 3. I know that 3 plus 3 equals 6. So now I can multiply this factor with this addend. 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times my other addend equals 6. And we know once we have distributed that number, we are going to add those 2 sums together. What is 6 plus 6? 6 plus 6 equals 12. Therefore, 2 times 6 equals 12. Today you have learned how to multiply using the associative property, the commutative property, and the distributive property.